Minnesota Somali fake child care center caught donating to Democrats. Are you surprised? The screenshot below shows Somali-run child care center in Minneapolis funding donation to local Somali politicians right around this massive fraud scam. Now here's the place we're talking about. Sunshine Child Care Center Inc. in Minnesota, Best Child Care Center Inc., Adult Care LLC, and Lucky Child Care Center LLC dropping $1,000 checks in 2021 mixed with individual donors. Politicians like Ilhan Omar got donation from fraud suspects back in 2022, though she did bounce those cash back to the food banks. But is that all? Could there be more with what her husband is doing behind closed doors? There's a common denominator with all of this fraud, and that would be Representative Ilhan Omar. Okay, according to the latest financial disclosure in May, her and her husband's net worth has surged up to 3,500% in just 1 year. Their net worth now is anywhere from $6 million to $30 million. Their venture capital firm alone, per their filing, is now worth between $5 million to $25 million. Reported by the New York Post, they're the first one who spotted this. Her husband's firm is now scrubbing names. Why would you scrub names from your firm? These aren't just small names. These are really big names. But before we talk about that, let's back it up. So before Ilhan Omar took office, this woman was broke. Now she's worth $30 million.
Make that make sense. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys pulling up today. We got to talk about this. This story right here is the gift that keeps on giving, but it's outrageous. And if you are not incensed behind this, I don't know where you've been. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're an actual American citizen, because what we're finding out, what's being uncovered is crazy. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We got to get into this. Let's go. All right, so we got to get into this New York Post article here. Ilhan Omar's husband, $30 million firm. They're quietly scrubbing names from this website here, as you heard in the opening clip here. So I want to get into this article real quick because this makes absolutely no sense. Now, for those of you guys that have been following this, that have been following, Ilhan Omar for a little bit, you guys know that before she got into office, she was essentially flat broke. This lady now is worth $30 million, or at least up to. So in the article here, it states that Ilhan Omar went from nearly broke to being worth $30 million in just a year. That's massive, man. This is up to, a $9 billion fraud scheme involving the Somali community in her district, and it's unfolded right under her nose. But I said this a while back. Her, Tim Waltz, and others out there in Minnesota, these folks are on the tape. Now, so far, they say close to 90 people have been charged, including at least 3 with direct ties to the Lefty Squad member, though she has not been accused of wrongdoing. But you got to understand, if you're going to come at a sitting member of Congress, you got to come correct. So they're going after the people around her. They're going to turn state. Y'all already know these people are going to snitch. Everybody snitches. All this no snitching. Nah, they're telling. They're telling. And I fully expect not only Ilhan Omar, but her husband, they should all be going down. Let's go into this article a little more. So, it says here that, shortly after all of this, and this whole scheme played out, Omar's husband, who is a political consultant, Tim Minot, launched the Rose Lake Capital, which is a venture capital management firm, out in 2022. It says that the company saw a reported value go from nearly zero in 2023 to $5 to $25 million in just a year, and it touted its officers $60 billion in previous assets under management, an amount many Wall Street money managers only dream of. This is crazy. This is crazy. Just kind of scrolling a little bit. It says the Rose Lake Capital, which touts its deep global networks built on the ground work in more than 80 countries, had less than $1,000 in assets in 2023. $1,000. All of a sudden, they're sitting on 30 million or so. This is insane. This is insane. And it says, yet, despite reported windfall, the business's only address is a WeWork in DC. Now, for those of you guys that aren't familiar with a WeWork is basically one of those office spaces where there's just a multitude of businesses that are in there. They get a chance to get an address and a shared office space. It's one of those incubator type places. That's pretty much what this is. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. So it says that while minus other businesses, a California winery that previously faced fraud allegations and was declared a failed venture in 2023, was suddenly worth $1 to $5 million in 2024, which is a 9,900% windfall. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. These people are pillaging the coffers up there, man. And this is money that's coming from taxpayers. Simple as that. This is taxpayer money going into their pockets. This is outrageous, man.
Welcome to the show, Wisconsin Congressman Derek Van Orden, also former Navy SEAL. Congressman, what's your reaction to this? The congressman seemed to laugh it off, and then she blamed the FBI for not catching the fraud in Minnesota.
Well, I think taking food out of hungry children's mouths is not a laughing matter. I don't care who you are. I was raised in abject rural poverty by a single mother. We had food stamps when it was actually a stamp you stuck on a card. I had subsidized school lunches and government cheese. And every single tax dollar that's allocated to feed a hungry child needs to go to a hungry child. And anybody who is diverting money for their own selfish intent needs to go to prison, period.
Do y'all believe that she tried to blame the FBI on not catching this? We covered that interview about a week or two ago. But do you guys believe that she did that?
We counted 28 different frauds in Minnesota. And now SBA loan fraud from the out of the SBA also popped up in Minnesota. SBA loan money is the accusation is getting stolen. Senator Joni Ernst says the Trump administration should pull the plug on this. Biden expanded the SBA program. The senator is asking and urging 24 federal agents to halt funding for the SBA loan program. But what do you make of the fact that there are 28 different types of frauds inside Minnesota, and The Hill is reporting this could derail Governor Tim Walz getting reelected next year?
Well, the fact that they've found 28 instances of fraud means that they haven't looked hard enough.
Types of fraud, just different types of fraud.
Types of fraud. Well, I'm telling you what, I lived and worked in Djibouti, Africa, which shares a contiguous border with Somalia for over 9 months. And it's populated by ethnic Somalis, Ethiopians, and Eritreans. And culturally, they're just different, meaning that they look at government as a way to get money and not to serve the people. So I have absolutely 100% confidence that these fraudsters are just that. And again, they're taking food out of hungry children's mouths. Now, as far as Tim Walz's political career, I mean, for Pete's sakes, Minnesota, they voted in Jesse Ventura for governor. So I don't know what the people over in Minnesota right across the river are thinking. And I don't know if they're going to vote for Tim Walz regardless of what he does. Ilhan Omar is her base is Somali, and she is Somali. So as long as she's not convicted of a crime, she's going to be reelected to office in perpetuity. And that's Minnesota's problem to deal with. But we have to look at this. We talk about federal dollars going to the state to be distributed that are being embezzled by citizens and then sent back to Al-Shabaab in East Africa. That is a real problem. That's actually providing material support to terrorism. And that is a federal crime. And people need to go to prison for this right now.
Okay,
I would agree with him 1,000%. 1,000%. I got to ask you guys a question. What's the percentage? What's the likelihood? Give me a percentage that Ilhan Omar or Tim Walz or both find themselves in handcuffs and indicted and on trial for fraud. What's the likelihood? Put a percentage down in the chat for me.
X, based on an article that New York Times posted about their story. Tim Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud in Minnesota. We let Tim Walz know of fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping fraud, but no, we got the opposite response. Tim Walz systematically retaliated against whistleblowers using monitoring, threats, repression, and did his best to discredit fraud reports. Instead of partnership, we got the full weight of retaliation by Tim Walz, certain DFL members, and an indifferent mainstream media. It's scary, isolating, and left us wondering who we can turn to. In addition to retaliating against whistleblowers, Tim Walz disempowered the Office of the Legislative Auditor, allowing agencies to disregard their audit findings and guidance. Media and politicians supporting Tim Walz or the DFL agenda attacked whistleblowers who were trying to raise red flags on fraudulent activities. This is a cascade of systematic failures leading up to Tim Walz. Agency leaders appointed by Tim Walz willfully disregarded rules and laws to keep fraud reports quiet, even to the extent of threatening families of whistleblowers. These same leaders are not qualified for their jobs, instead getting leadership jobs via Tim Walz's friendship, so state government were left floundering. DFL lawmakers refused to acknowledge fraud and deflected any serious conversation to stop fraud. Biased mainstream media such as WCCO and NPR showed absolutely no interest in covering fraud happening in our state. Programs, especially in behavioral health and disability services, were built without any guardrails against fraud, all in an attempt to extract more funding from legislature and the federal government. As staff, we firsthand witnessed and observed fraud happening, yet we were shut down, reassigned, and told to keep quiet, sometimes more. Leadership did not want to appear to discriminate against certain communities and were unwilling to take action, such as stopping fraud, that would have an adverse impact on their image. To date, no single agency leader has been held responsible for their role in fraud, and here they name names, whether it's Shireen Gandhi, Jess Gill, Jody Hartstead, Natasha Mertz, Eric Gramdahl, or others. It is a structure created and maintained by Tim Walz, who has created an environment of interrelated agencies and institutions, including the media, that help foster fraud through retaliation and turning a blind eye in exchange for political gain in the form of high-power agency leadership jobs or other perks.
Yeah, it's a mess in Minnesota right now, man. I'm glad it's out. I'm glad it's out there. We're talking about it. A lot of people are discussing it. Nick Shirley went up to Minnesota and did a phenomenal job. If you have not checked out Nick Shirley, go check him out. Phenomenal job. Dude's doing great work out here, and it has to be discussed. We got to continue to talk about it, and we need justice. I'm at a point now where maybe we just stop sending money to these places, as if the federal government, that is. Stop sending federal funds to states that do not allow audits, that, you know, we've uncovered massive amounts of fraud. You can't get any more federal benefits until you clean that up. And when I say clean that up, that means that the powers that be in the current administration, they're able to go in there and basically look under the hood and get a full understanding as to what's going on. Let's get in the indictments. Let's clean it up and get all of the people that are out of there that are responsible for this. They all got to go. And until that happens, you get no more federal funds. And Minnesota is where we start, but there's a plethora of states that are doing this. Minnesota is just, it's just being exposed right now. But I would put any amount of money on it that Minnesota is not the only state. We've already discussed Columbus. We found out what's going on up in Maine. We found out what's going on out in Boston. This is happening in a lot of places, and this is ridiculous. And this is you and everybody else's taxpayer dollars going to these places, and they want to raise taxes. They want to continue to take more money from us so they can take it and fill their own coffers. And I got a huge problem with that, and you should as well. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We will catch up with you all next time. God bless. Take care. Peace.
Vibes so